and the two guys that went in got caught and arrested already. The police put all the stories together, and they realized what had just happened. We all get arrested. My family gets a call while they're on vacation. They have to come back, and so forth. And ultimately, I end up getting a community service.
Willie D. Live.
Man, it's crazy that 5 years has passed that fast.
Right.
I didn't realize I hadn't done your show in 5 years. I hadn't realized it had been that long.
Yeah.
You lost your dad what year?
It was right before COVID. It was about maybe, because, he...
Yeah, see, that don't even seem like that long to me.
It was maybe 6 months before COVID, so maybe 5.5 years ago or something like that.
Does it seem like that long to you?
I mean, the older you get, the faster time seems to go.
Yeah.
So not really.
Yeah.
Not really.
You grew up in Springfield, Massachusetts.
Well, I didn't grow up in Springfield.
Or was it California?
Well, okay, so what happened was around the age of 5, my family moved to America. And the first place they settled in was Springfield, Massachusetts. Okay. Right? And I was there because I remember going to 3rd grade in California. I think I went to 2nd grade in San Francisco. So like kindergarten, 1st grade, right around that time. So maybe there was a couple of years that I lived in Springfield. I remember I lived in the projects early on. And then eventually my family moved into like the bottom level of this old woman's home. And then eventually moved to California. And I think, right around 2nd grade is where I started going to school in California, and then my family settled in San Mateo, and that's when I started like going to elementary school and then onward to high school and so forth.
And what was it like growing up in your house, and what kind of kid was you?
I was an only child, and
you was getting into stuff.
What do you mean?
Were you getting into stuff? A lot of things.
I mean, I got arrested as a kid.
For what?
I had me and 2 friends. There was a mall near our house named Hillsdale Mall. I'm not sure if it's around anymore, but we were out late one night. My family was on vacation during that time. They were out of town. My parents were out of town.
And how old are you?
Maybe 14? About that time? Yeah, about
that
age, about 14?
Yeah.
Me and 2 friends were riding around on our bikes around Hillsdale Mall after it was closed at night. And we found a way into the mall. One of the side doors was open. So we took like a kryptonite lock. Remember those things? And we locked our bikes together and threw them in the bushes. And we all went into the mall. And there was no security guards around, at least where we were. So we went in, and there was this candy store, and we took like some cases of candy. I remember like the gummy Coke bottles. I remember that was one of the candies that we took. And we took a couple cases of it, and we ran outside with it. And I was by myself, and the 2 other friends said, we're going to go back in and get some more. And I said, well, I'm cool with that. I'm just going to stay outside, right? Y'all on your own. I go to get the locks, and I'd lost the key to the lock that held the bikes together, right? Just, But this is what happens when you're doing crimes,
You always forget something.
You always forget something. Dumb shit happens. So I'm like, okay, waiting for my friends to come out, and I'm sitting there next to these bikes that are locked together, and the police roll up. And they're like, what are you doing out here? I said, oh, I was just hanging out with my friends, but I lost, we were just hanging out, and I had my bikes, I'd locked my bikes up, but I lost the key. So the police started like running the serial numbers of the bikes to see if they were stolen. They weren't stolen.
The bikes had serial numbers?
Or something. It was something like that. I mean, they were just going through to make sure that these weren't stolen bikes.
Right.
I don't know if it was serial numbers or whether someone had reported bikes stolen. It was something like that, right? Okay, so I'm out here by myself with a police car and these 3 bikes that are clamped together. And the police was like, okay, well, the bikes are cool. Let's help you maybe find the key. Now, the candy was stashed nearby, right? So as they're looking for the key...
The other guys come out of the door.
Well, no. The police find the cases of candy.
Okay.
And then they call the mall security, and the 2 guys that went in got caught and arrested already. The police put all the stories together, and they realize what had just happened. We all get arrested. My family gets a call while they're on vacation. They have to come back, and so forth. And ultimately, I end up getting a community service.
Yeah.
For it. I mean, they got the candy back. You know, I don't know. It was like maybe $50, $80 worth of candy. And me and the other 2 guys had to do community service. And that was pretty much the end of my relationship with those 2 guys anyways. You know, after that, we never really spoke again. And, you know, when I got to 18, I got my record expunged. So I got that off my record. And, you know, and I realized how stupid that was. I realized I'm not a good criminal. This is not something I wanted to pursue later in life.
Did you get a whipping?
My parents didn't really hit me like that.
You didn't get whippings?
Maybe as a kid. You know, I was like 5 or something, but eventually my parents...
Oh, yeah, something like that. In my house, that would have been a fantastic ass whooping.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that would have been one for the record books.